Hello, I'm called Tim, and it's around noon, which means it's time for my live hangout. I did not do a hangout yesterday because I was at the hospital. One of our elders is sick and going to have surgery tomorrow, so I may not even do a hangout tomorrow. But I want to talk today about black men getting choked by the NYPD, New York Police Department. As you all know, recently there was a death. Um, I believe the man's name was Eric something or other. I forget the names because so many of us are killed these days, either by our own hand, each other's hand, or NYPD. And I want to talk about why the NYPD chokes us. Well, the first and obvious reason is that the officer is like what KRS once said. He is the overseer, and his job is to manage people of color and protect everyone else. That's his job, even if the officer is a person of color. His job is to manage other people of color. And during slavery times, we had dark overseers, field hands who would keep the other slaves in line. Read your history, you'll know it. Look at some of my historical videos. I will, I read passages, and I will show it. Um, so that's the obvious reason. In New York City, there are other reasons. For instance, everyone knows that we live in a white supremacy system. It's global. And the system decides who's going to work, who's not going to work, who's going to have positions, who's not, who's going to be at the top of the communities and who's not. Now, we are free in that we can break from the system or create other smaller systems beside it, and function in those systems. We don't have to function in the white supremacy system. Psychologically, we're so damaged that we choose to, but we don't have to. But my community has so much mental illness that we're comfortable in the white supremacy dominated system, even though we're at the bottom. Okay. That system has decided that black women will have the jobs, black men will not. Sorry, ladies, if you think that you got your job on your merit. You're working at these white institutions because they are allowing you to. Sometimes the law makes them do it, but they really just are allowing you because they know that you're going to go back to the community or come back to us and behave like white men. And anybody who's dating or with a black woman who's in a position of power, and don't let them have a master's degree, it's over. You know what I'm saying is true. Okay. Now, these black women could bring their resources back into the community and say, well, we know what system we're under, which they don't believe they're in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure our community is done well. We're going to make sure we take care of our men. And when I say take care of, I mean we hire them to do tasks. We hire them to make sure our buildings are clean, our streets are clean. We hire them to cut our grass and do our landscaping. We hire them to act as security for us to travel to and from. We hire them to sell us goods and whatever the case may be. There's no need that black men could go get stuff for wholesale and sell it retail out of your house. We can have little candy stores. We can have those kinds of things. Why can't we? Of course. But because the black women don't do that, the black men are out there. And we as black men have to try our best to create businesses. I can't afford much, but I have 3 stores on, well, actually 2 stores on eBay, a general store, and a store with one of my elders. We sell vegan bags, handbags. I also started a business with my partner. We make and sell natural soap, so we have a shop in Etsy. And I've been publishing books for 5 years on Smashword and recently on Kindle Direct. So we have to use this technology as black men to push our work, to push our talents as best we can. Some of us vend, we're street vendors and things like that, but they harass us when we street vend too and fine us so that we can't really make money like we should. Um, so that's another reason why NYPD could just come and choke us because when we're not when we're not working, we're standing where? In front of bodegas or on corners. And that's exactly what happened in this case. The guy was standing in front of the bodega. He may or may not have been selling loose cigarettes, but that's kind of irrelevant because if he was, he should not have had to sell it from the street. He should have had a network of people who know where he is and could buy the cigarettes from him. Okay. So when we're left out there on the corner, when we're left out there on the streets, we're very vulnerable. And we could be charged with anything. Because NYPD can approach us, can tell us anything, can push us, can shove us, and we can't do anything back. And another reason why they choke us is because we get frustrated, we're under so much pressure, and sometimes we push back just out of instinct. And then the choking comes. Another reason NYPD chokes us, besides the obvious reason, they can. Well, maybe I didn't say that. They can and get away with it, and these people who killed this black man will get away with it. Trust me. We'll scream a little. NYPD will promise to do an investigation. Nothing will happen. We'll go back to normal. Worst case scenario, maybe blacks will get frustrated enough that they'll throw bricks through the store, we'll call the police on them, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, nothing changes. So NYPD, again, they choke us because they can. Remember, there's multiple reasons why they choke us. And another reason why they choke us is because they are afraid of us. This guy was a big guy, and they're always afraid that we're going to harm them. I may have told this story, but I'll tell it again. Maybe a few months ago, I was walking behind an old white woman, and she kept looking back. And the sidewalk was narrow, so I stayed behind her because I didn't want to go anywhere near her. She was so afraid, she backed up against the fence to let me pass. And she watched me as I passed. And in my mind, I thought, well, I could tell this lady, listen, I don't really want to rob you. You don't have anything I want. Or I could have told her, I'm the least of your problems. You need to worry about the people on Wall Street, because they're gonna be the ones that destroy you, not me. But I just said I'll go a different route. I said, hi, how are you? And then she was shocked. She said, I'm fine, and you? And then she wanted to have a conversation with me after she insulted me by backing up and acting as if I was a thug, a violent thug. Then she wanted to have a conversation. So I had a short conversation with her, talked about the weather, and I went on about my business. They fear us. They fear us because they know the pressure that we're under, and they know that any other human being would have broken by now. So I say to my brothers that no matter what they say about you, because I get told every single day by the person who loves me that I'm not worth as much. No matter what they tell you, they don't know what they're talking about. You are valuable, you are worthy, and you show it every day by not exploding and cutting somebody's throat. Because any other human being goes off, including black women. You ever see them? You say one wrong thing to them and they're off the rails, right? So I say to my brothers that because I think it needs to be said. And I want to say this. Most black people don't have the ability to assess your value anyway, because 99% of our community is mentally ill. And that's the quote unquote educated ones too. Matter of fact, they're worse than the so-called ghetto folk. So that is why black men get choked by the NYPD, will continue to get choked by the NYPD, because our community just doesn't care about us. And a lot of us have stopped caring about ourselves. Maybe it'll turn around. Who knows? Um, if any of my viewers, anyone in the chat room want to speak, speak now. Forever hold your peace. Going once, going twice. Click the GoFundMe link. Support these hangouts, and I will see you next time. If you are sane, keep your head up. It's not you, it's everyone else that's the problem.